pink. Think pink when you shop for summer clothes. Think pink. Think pink if you want that kelp that shows. Red is dead, blue is through, green's obscene, brown's taboo, and there is not the slightest excuse for plum abuse or chartreuse.
G'day gorgeous. So this week I've been talking to a lot of people about some of the issues that come up in relationships, and there was an analogy that I talked about that, you know, a client was just kind of like, that's so true. And I thought, oh, okay, you might benefit in understanding that approach as well. So if you have a partner, or if you've had a partner in previously, you'll know what I'm about to say is something that happens on a very regular basis in relationships. And it's the difference between how men and women approach a problem. So often what happens when a woman gets upset about something, so a partner said something or done something that, you know, has upset the female in the relationship, often that female just withdraws, and, you know, she might start stomping around the house and letting you know that, you know, if you're the male, that she's angry, but you don't quite know what the problem is. And it's really interesting because when women withdraw, they have an expectation that their partner will pursue them to find out what the problem is, and men usually don't. And so there ends up being this situation where, you know, a problem's occurred. As a woman, I've withdrawn. I'm expecting my partner to actually come and say, what's wrong? And sometimes some partners do. They come and say, what's wrong? And what, as women, do we always say? Nothing. Nothing. I'm fine. You're not fine at all. And it was making me laugh about, why do we do this to ourselves? And the reason is that you as a woman expect that you should not have to tell your partner what's wrong, that he should know. So when he comes and says, what's wrong? Because he's male and he actually doesn't understand what happened in your head that made you upset. You just go, nothing, I'm fine. And it's like, we do ourselves such an injustice. And, you know, we cause more problems in our relationships than we need to. If we can take the time when we get upset about something as women and withdraw and kind of think, what is it really that I'm actually bothered about? I can actually spend some time thinking, oh, actually, he said this thing, and that reminded me of when somebody else said that thing. I suddenly feel like I'm unimportant or not wanted, or when he says that thing, I think, oh, really? Is that the sort of person that he is? Wow, I didn't pick that. Oh, does that mean that I've suddenly chosen for a partner somebody who I thought I knew, but I didn't expect them to behave that way, so maybe I don't know them at all. Oh, great, here we go again. I can't trust my own judgment, because that's exactly what happens with me, I know. So where there's been an issue in a previous relationship, in a new relationship, and this happens, you know, this has happened recently with me in my new relationship, you know, I get to a point where it's just kind of like, hang on, I know I've withdrawn because I'm angry about something, or I'm not necessarily angry, but upset. And I spend that time trying to kind of go, okay, so what is it that that person said that caused me to become upset? Okay, I think I understand what it's about, but what is it that that person then, when they've said that and I've got upset about it, why? What is it about me and my perception of myself? Because we always try and externalize the blame. That's why you get into arguments. You kind of like, you said that and you upset me, therefore this is your problem, and you kind of throw it all out. But you're doing that because internally you don't feel good. It's something in the interaction has made you feel bad. So you're trying to offset that by throwing Molotov cocktails at the other person. It's your fault. You did this, you did that. Instead of actually having a look at what's going on inside of yourself. So if you can take the time to have a look before you throw your Molotov cocktails and go, what has this activated in me? What is it about what they did that makes me feel bad about myself? And trust me, it's in there. Something that they've done has made you feel invalidated, or like you did something wrong, or that you can't trust your own judgment, or that you're not important or inadequate or not good enough for them, right? So then you react to that and you get angry and you start throwing that stuff back. If you want to make sure that an intimate relationship can survive, the main thing that you need to do at that point when you're aware of those conflicts is to pull back and go, what is it that just happened that made me feel this way about myself? And when you're clear about what it is, I want you to then be able to, at a point where there's no kind of confrontational argument or whatever, be able to have a sit-down conversation with your partner where you're actually taking time out to have a communication about the issue. And you need to frame it in terms of, okay, I got upset when this happened. You said this, but what I heard was something else. Or what I heard activated something in me that didn't make me feel good about myself. And that's about my own past or my own history. And I needed you to know, because when you say those things, this is how I respond. This is how it makes me feel. And if you can do that, you can take the responsibility for your own feelings and be able to communicate them to your partner without blame. So understanding my response, and give it to them in a way that explains where it comes from you. They don't feel like they have to fight back because they don't feel like you're attacking them. They feel like you're able to explain to them what it is that you got upset about. And honestly, most men, they don't understand. They think if you have an argument at night and you go to bed cranky, when you wake up the next morning, you'll be fine. You just forget about it and move on. Isn't that how most men manage their lives? And yes, it is true. Most men think you could just go to sleep, and when you wake up in the morning, you should be okay now. But you're still bloody cranky, and you want him to make some effort to show you that he loves and cares about you and pursue you and find out what your problem is. But when he pursues you and asks you what's wrong, you say nothing. We're our own worst enemy at times. All right, so I hope you found that interesting. I always find it really useful when I'm trying to understand myself, especially in relationships, because it's always that challenging part. You know, I love being in relationship, but far out, it's also a lot of work. All right, I hope that was useful. I'll see you soon.
Pink for cheeks and pink at your lips, pink for shirts and all of your slips, just a touch of pink at your knees, and if you please, what? Pink chemise.